Yes, there's a black kid causing trouble in my store. She's here to steal, and I need someone here immediately. The white manager held her phone tightly as she spoke to the police, staring down at the young kid, Madison Taylor, who was simply trying to buy a birthday dress for her mother. Madison stood there in shock, clutching her carefully saved money, watching this woman lie to the authorities about her with zero remorse. Suddenly, the alarms began wailing throughout the shopping center. Emergency lights bathed the store in flashing red as shoppers rushed toward the exits. In the midst of this chaos stood Madison, frozen as the approaching sirens grew louder outside. But here's what Karen Stevens didn't know. She had no idea who she was messing with. She thought she was dealing with just another black girl she could intimidate and humiliate. But she was dead wrong. Madison Taylor, the young black girl, had been raised by a single mother who taught her about respect and kindness. Madison's mother, Michelle, was turning 40 in just 1 week, and this incredible daughter had been planning the perfect surprise for months. She'd been saving every penny from her allowance, $450. That might not sound like much to some people, but for a 14-year-old, that was a fortune earned through pure dedication and love. Madison had researched the perfect dress online for weeks. She knew exactly what she wanted. Something elegant and beautiful that would make her hard-working mother feel like a queen on her special day. And she decided to do something she'd never done before. Shop at her mother's boutique all by herself. She wanted this to be her gift, her surprise, her way of showing her mother how much she appreciated everything she'd sacrificed for them. So there Madison was, walking into Bella's boutique with her heart full of excitement and her carefully counted money in her purse, ready to make her mother's birthday dreams come true. Her mother, Michelle Taylor, wasn't just any mother. At 40 years old, she was the CEO and owner of Prestige Fashion Group, a multi-million-dollar company that she built from absolutely nothing. Prestige Fashion Group owned Bella's boutique, the very store where Madison was shopping. Karen Stevens, 45 years old, was the store manager at Bella's boutique for 6 years and absolutely convinced that she was the guardian of the store's upscale reputation. Karen saw herself as a gatekeeper, deciding who belonged in her boutique and who didn't. She had perfected the art of disguising her deep-seated prejudices as store policy, always finding professional-sounding reasons for treating certain customers differently. Karen had built her entire identity around managing this high-end store, believing that excluding the wrong kind of people was protecting the business. She had no clue that she was about to come face-to-face with the woman who actually owned everything she thought she was protecting. The moment Madison Taylor stepped through the glass doors of Bella's boutique, Karen Stevens' eyes locked onto her like a predator spotting prey. Here was a young black girl walking into her upscale store unaccompanied by any adult. In Karen's twisted mind, this was already suspicious. This was a boutique where dresses started at $300 and went up to $500 or more. What was a kid doing here alone? Just 2 minutes before Madison arrived, a white woman in her 30s had walked in with her teenage daughter. Karen's entire demeanor had been completely different. "Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Bella's. How can I help you find something absolutely stunning today?" Her voice was warm, welcoming, filled with genuine enthusiasm. She guided them to the newest arrivals, offered them complimentary water, and asked about special occasions they might be shopping for. But when Madison approached the counter with a polite smile, ready to ask for help finding the perfect dress for her mother's birthday, Karen barely looked up from her paperwork. No greeting, no welcome, nothing. Madison stood there for a full 30 seconds, waiting patiently like the well-mannered child she was, before finally saying, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm looking for a dress for my mother's birthday." Karen glanced up with the most dismissive look you can imagine. "Dresses are over there," she said coldly, pointing vaguely toward the back of the store without even making eye contact. Madison felt the chill immediately, but she'd been raised to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the woman was just having a bad day. Maybe she was busy. So Madison smiled and said, "Thank you," walking toward the dress section with her head held high. She was determined not to let anyone's attitude ruin her special mission. Ashley, the sales associate, watched this interaction from across the store and felt that familiar sick feeling in her stomach. She'd seen Karen do this before, treat certain customers like they didn't belong while rolling out the red carpet for others. Ashley wanted to help Madison, wanted to be the kind and welcoming presence this sweet girl deserved, but she was terrified. Karen had made it clear that employees who didn't follow her lead would find themselves looking for new jobs. Madison began browsing the dress selection. She was more careful and respectful than most adult customers would be. She gently touched the fabrics to feel their quality, examined the price tags carefully, and handled each dress like it was made of precious silk. She was looking for something special, something that would make her mother feel beautiful and appreciated. But Karen wasn't seeing a respectful young customer. She was seeing a threat that needed to be monitored. She began following Madison around the store, staying about 10 feet away, watching her every move like Madison was a known shoplifter. When Madison picked up a stunning blue dress to look at the price tag, Karen immediately appeared at her side. "Be very careful with that," Karen said sharply. "These are expensive items, not toys to play with." Madison looked up, startled. "Yes, ma'am. I understand. I'm just looking at the price. Well, these dresses start at $300, Karen said, with a tone that clearly suggested Madison couldn't possibly afford anything in the store. But Madison had been raised right. Instead of getting defensive or upset, she simply said, "Thank you for letting me know about the prices. I've been saving my money for this." Karen's eyebrows shot up in disbelief, but she walked away, muttering something under her breath. For the next 20 minutes, this pattern continued. Every time Madison showed interest in a dress, Karen would appear with some snide comment. Meanwhile, Emma Wilson, a 16-year-old white customer, was watching all of this unfold. She'd been shopping with her mother's credit card for a homecoming dress, and Karen had been nothing but sweet and helpful, offering to bring different sizes, suggesting accessories, even offering to hold items while Emma decided. The contrast in treatment was glaring, and then Madison saw it. A gorgeous emerald green dress with delicate beading around the neckline. It was elegant, sophisticated, exactly the kind of thing that would make her mother feel like royalty on her 40th birthday. Madison carefully lifted the dress from the rack and looked at the price tag. $400, perfect. She had $450, which would leave her enough for tax and maybe a nice gift box. She walked to the counter where Karen was now helping Emma pick out accessories, waiting patiently for her turn. When Emma finished, Madison stepped forward with the dress draped carefully over her arm. "Excuse me. I'd like to try this dress on, please," Madison said politely. Karen looked at the dress, then at Madison, and her face immediately hardened. "That dress costs $400, she said slowly, like she was talking to someone who couldn't understand basic English. "I don't think it's for you." Madison's heart sank, but she'd anticipated this moment. She reached into her purse and pulled out her carefully counted money, $450 in neat bills. "I have the money," she said quietly, setting it on the counter. "I've been saving for months to buy my mother a birthday dress." For a split second, Karen's shock was visible, but instead of apologizing, her expression twisted into anger. "Where did you get this money?" she demanded, staring at the bills like they were stolen goods. "I saved it from my allowance," Madison replied, confused. "I don't believe you," Karen said flatly. "No kid your age has that kind of money unless something shady is going on." Madison's eyes filled with tears, but she tried again. "Ma'am, I promise you this is my money. I can call my mother if you need someone to verify." "No," Karen snapped. "I don't want to hear your stories. Put that dress back and leave my store." That's when Madison realized what was really happening. This wasn't about money or store policy. This was about the color of her skin. But Madison was her mother's daughter, and she wasn't going to be bullied into leaving without a fight. "I'd like to speak to your manager," she said quietly. Karen actually laughed. "I am the manager, sweetheart, and I'm telling you to leave." Madison, still trying to be respectful, said, "Then I'd like to speak to your district manager or the store owner." Karen's face turned red with rage. "You're not speaking to anyone," she snarled. "In fact, I think you're trying to cause trouble. I think you came in here to steal, and I think you're concealing items." Madison's mouth dropped open. "What? I'm not concealing anything." "You can search my purse." "I saw you put something in your jacket pocket," Karen lied, her voice growing louder. "I've been watching you, and you've been acting suspicious since you walked in here." The entire store went silent. Other customers turned to stare. Ashley Rodriguez felt like she was going to be sick. Emma Wilson pulled out her phone and started recording. Madison was shaking now, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't take anything. Please just let me call my mother. But Karen was on a power trip. No phone calls. You're a shoplifter, and I'm calling the police." And that's exactly what she did. Karen dialed 911, her voice cold and authoritative. "Yes, This is Karen Stevens, manager at Bella's Boutique. I have a young black female here attempting theft. She's been concealing items and being aggressive when confronted. I need immediate police assistance. Madison tried to pull out her phone to call her mother, but Karen screamed at her to put it away. No phone calls. Sit down and wait for the police. By now, Madison was terrified. Her heart pounded as she texted her mother one desperate message before the phone was snatched away. Mommy, please help me. They're arresting me and I didn't do anything. I'm at Bella's Boutique. 23 miles across town, Michelle Taylor was in the most important board meeting of the quarter at Prestige Fashion Group headquarters. She was in the middle of presenting a $50 million expansion project to her investors when her assistant Patricia burst in, breaking her strict rule never to be interrupted unless it was life or death. Patricia whispered urgently, "Ma'am, there's an emergency call about Miss Taylor's daughter." Michelle grabbed her phone. 17 missed calls, 12 messages. The most recent text made her blood run cold. "Mommy, please help me." Michelle shot up from her chair. "This meeting is adjourned. Emergency family situation." Richard Blackstone, her biggest critic among investors, sneered. "Michelle, you can't just leave in the middle of this. This is unprofessional." Michelle turned on him, her voice sharp as steel. "Richard, my 14-year-old daughter is in police custody. If you have a problem with me prioritizing her over your concerns, take it up with the board." "Oh wait, that's me." She stormed out, heels clicking on the marble floor, already dialing her lawyer, David Chen. "David, my daughter's been arrested at Bella's Boutique." "I don't know what's going on, but I need you there now." David was stunned. "Arrested, Madison? For what?" "I don't know," Michelle said, jumping into her car, "but somebody is going to pay for this." Meanwhile, at the boutique, Officer Johnson arrived and placed Madison in handcuffs. He was uneasy. The girl didn't fit any profile of a thief. She was polite, articulate, and crying that she only wanted to buy her mother a gift. Still, he relied on Karen's word. "Miss Taylor," he asked gently, "did you take anything?" "No, sir," Madison said through tears. "I swear I didn't." Before he could press further, his radio crackled. "Unit 47, this is Chief Morrison. I need you to call me immediately regarding the juvenile in custody." Johnson stepped away and called. "Chief?" The chief's voice was sharp. "Johnson, what the hell is going on?" "I just got a call from Michelle Taylor." "Is her daughter under arrest?" Johnson's stomach dropped. "Sir, the store manager said she witnessed theft." "Johnson, do you have any evidence?" "Did you find stolen merchandise?" "No, sir. We were waiting for a female officer to search her." "Don't search her. Don't do anything until I get there. And Johnson, start praying you didn't just destroy your career." Screeching tires cut through the afternoon air as a black Mercedes stopped in front of Bella's Boutique. Michelle Taylor stepped out like a force of nature, calm on the surface, fury boiling just beneath. Beside her came her brother, Judge Marcus Taylor, flashing federal credentials, and close behind, Dr. Angela Thompson with a medical bag. Michelle's voice rang out, cold and absolute. "Stop! Get those handcuffs off my daughter! Now!" Officer Johnson actually stepped back. "Ma'am, please!" Michelle handed him her license and business card with steady hands. He read the name and color drain from his face. Michelle Taylor, CEO, Prestige Fashion Group. Madison looked up from the back seat of the patrol car, tears shining. "Mom." Dr. Thompson slid to the open door and checked the girl gently. Pulse rapid, hands trembling, face blotched from crying. Karen Stevens stepped forward, still clinging to her lie. "Your daughter is a thief. She tried to steal. She'll face the consequences." Michelle turned her gaze on Karen, a stare like tempered steel. "Your store?" she said softly. "This is my store. I own Bella's Boutique. You work for me. And you just had my daughter arrested for shopping." A ripple went through the crowd. Johnson swallowed hard. Reporters raised cameras. Ashley Rodriguez pushed forward, phone in hand. "Mrs. Taylor, Ashley, sales associate." "I saw everything." "Madison did nothing wrong. I recorded parts of it." "Security office," Michelle said. "Now." They filed into the back. On the monitor, high-definition footage told the story without mercy. Madison entering politely, ignored at the counter, shadowed through racks, treated with contempt while white customers received warm service. Madison handling dresses gently, checking price tags, waiting her turn. No concealment, no theft. Nothing but patience and dignity. Dr. Thompson pointed. She's meticulous, careful. This is a child behaving responsibly. Judge Marcus took notes. Manager's allegation is unsupported. False report likely, Karen's voice wavered. The cameras don't show everything. She could have. Michelle's look pinned her to the wall. Invisible merchandise? That's your defense? Ashley lifted her phone. The clips she'd captured added audio to the images. Karen's condescension, the sneer in her tone, the accusation when Madison produced cash. Emma Wilson's off-camera whisper. Why is she treating her like that? Caught the room like a draft of cold air. Michelle turned to Officer Johnson. Remove the cuffs. His hands shook as he unlocked them. Madison stumbled into her mother's arms, sobbing, breath hitching in sharp bursts. Dr. Thompson checked her again, voice calm but urgent. Acute stress reaction. Elevated pulse. She needs observation. Michelle faced Karen. You destroyed a child's trust today. You taught her that in your world, the color of her skin makes her a suspect. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. You're finished. Karen tried to speak, words collapsing on themselves. Mrs. Taylor, please, misunderstanding. I can learn. Officer, Judge Marcus said evenly. Note that the initial arrest lacked corroborating evidence. There should be an incident addendum reflecting the exculpatory footage and witness statements. Johnson nodded, sweating. Yes, Your Honor. Michelle stepped to the doorway, addressing cameras and crowd alike. What happened here is not rare. It's only rarely recorded. There will be accountability. She turned back to Karen. Effective immediately, you are terminated and banned from all Prestige Fashion Group properties. Security will escort you out. Karen sagged onto a chair, mascara threading down her cheeks, the word finished finally settling into place. Outside, the crowd erupted, some in relief, some in outrage at what they'd witnessed. Hashtags began to appear on screens. Osher Justice for Madison, shopping while black. News vans extended masts into the sky. Dr. Thompson touched Michelle's arm. Hospital next. We need to document this properly. Michelle nodded, then knelt to Madison's eye level.
Baby, are you hurt? Did anyone touch you?
I just wanted to buy your birthday dress, Madison whispered. I saved my money. We're still getting that dress, Michelle said, voice steady, eyes bright with unshed fire. And you will never, ever be small in anyone's story again. Michelle and Dr. Thompson escorted Madison from the patrol car, the girl clinging tightly to her mother. Cameras followed every moment. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what Dr. Thompson suspected. Madison had suffered acute stress and needed counseling. Michelle immediately arranged therapy with Dr. Sarah Williams, the family's trusted psychologist. But Michelle wasn't finished. From the hospital, she issued a statement. Prestige Fashion Group will immediately implement mandatory anti-bias training for all employees. We are creating a zero-tolerance customer equality policy, and we are founding the Madison Taylor Foundation with $10 million to support young people who experience discrimination. The press release spread like wildfire. Civil rights leaders praised her swift action. Customers across the country expressed solidarity. Hashtags like Justice for Madison and Equality in Retail trended for weeks. Days later, Michelle kept her promise to Madison. Together, they returned to Bella's boutique. Ashley Rodriguez greeted them with warmth and humility. Welcome back, Madison. Let's find you that perfect dress. They spent an hour in the store, Ashley offering the care and respect Madison should have received from the beginning. Madison chose the emerald green dress, and Michelle insisted they buy several others, not because they needed them, but because Madison deserved to feel joy again. As the cashier wrapped the dresses, Ashley's voice cracked with emotion. Madison, your mother is so lucky. You're strong and brave, and that dress will look stunning on her. That evening, the story of Madison's return to the store was broadcast nationwide. The image of a young girl standing proudly with her mother in the same boutique where she was once humiliated became a symbol of resilience. 3 weeks later, Michelle's 40th birthday arrived. At the celebration, she wore the emerald green dress Madison had chosen. Standing before friends, family, and colleagues, Michelle spoke. 3 weeks ago, my daughter faced the ugliest form of discrimination. A manager saw her skin color and decided she was a criminal. Madison was handcuffed for the crime of shopping. But what that woman didn't realize is that Madison has more courage, grace, and dignity than prejudice will ever overcome. She raised her glass to her daughter. Madison, you reminded me that when the world tries to make us small, we stand tall. When others show hate, we answer with truth and integrity. You inspired me to use my power to make sure no other child endures what you did. The applause lasted minutes. Madison rose, hugged her mother, and whispered, I just wanted to buy you something beautiful. Michelle smiled through tears. You gave me the most beautiful gift of all, your strength. 6 months later, Bella's boutique reopened with new training, new policies, and a diverse staff. Michelle and Madison cut the ribbon together, surrounded by community leaders, activists, and families of every background. Karen Stevens never worked in retail again. Officer Johnson, humbled, completed extensive bias training and pledged to do better. And Madison Taylor grew up knowing that her voice mattered, that injustice can be fought, that silence is not an option, and that love is stronger than hate. The emerald green dress remained a lasting symbol of resilience, of a daughter's love, and of the unbreakable bond between mother and child who turned injustice into change.